The Copin Bible, with notes.
Not long ago, Vermilionite Georgie Tarrant and the minister of Vermilion's UCC Congregational Church, Reverend Bob Richardson, were having coffee in one of Vermilion's numerous coffee shops one afternoon. As best I understand, discussion touched upon some mention of the interdenominational Christian organization, Crusade for Christ. Overhearing their conversation, a lady named Shelley Forbes, sitting at a table nearby, asked if they might know of anyone or place that would be interested in acquiring a very old Bible. It had apparently once belonged to someone who had lived in Vermilion. It seems that one of her relatives had been a collector of such items, and she just wanted it to go to a place where it would be both appreciated and preserved. Whether this was an act of providence or simply coincidence is unknown. What it certainly was, however, was a truth is stranger than fiction moment. Going to her car, she returned with a calfskin leather-bound tome inside a clear plastic bag. It had obviously been used with some frequency. And now, as the old radio commentator Paul Harvey used to say, the rest of the story.
The Bible is an authorized King James Version, containing the Old and New Testaments that were diligently compared and translated from the original tongues. It was revised and published by the American Bible Society in 1863. It is, therefore, considered to be a Civil War-era Bible.
As the accompanying photograph illustrates, this particular Bible was purchased on December 22nd, 1863, during the war, by a man named James Copin in Sandusky, Ohio. Copin obviously gave it to a gal named Sarah M. Brown of Vermilion. So who were these folks?
James Copin was born in England in 1795. On March 6, 1835, the Reverend John Keyes presided over the marriage between James and Amanda Richardson in Cleveland, Ohio. By 1850, the couple were living on a farm in the little hamlet of Brownhelm, Ohio, with their 13-year-old son John, born in 1837. 1860 found the family still living in Brownhelm, but son John was doing the farming and James, according to the census, was listed as a peddler. A decade later, both Amanda and John were gone. What happened within the family during that decade is unknown to me. But as is obvious by the inscription inside the Bible, it would appear that James had separated from his wife and son and was, by 1865, developing a close relationship with Ms. Brown. Then, in 1870, James reappears in the national census as a farmer. He is then living in Vermilion Township, and Sarah M. Brown is now his wife. He is nearly 20 years her senior.
Born Sarah Root in New York State in 1815, she was the youngest of 8 children. Her father died when she was less than a year old. When she was 7, she walked 2 miles through a woods every day to school. At age 16, she began teaching school for $1 a week. In 1834, she came to Ohio to visit her aunt, Mrs. Joseph Swift. Note: Joseph Swift had built a particularly beautiful mansion the family called Rosedale along Gore Road in Florence Township. That home eventually became the model for Vermilion's Ritter Public Library. In 1837, she joined the Methodist Episcopal Church at Brownhelm. She also attended the Milan Institute, later teaching in Florence Township until her marriage to Charles R. Brown. That's right, Charlie Brown. In 1840, the newlyweds started off their married life in Brownhelm, then moved to Axtell, Ohio in 1853. Charles died the same year, leaving her with 4 small children. At that time, there was neither a church nor a Sunday school at Axtell. But Sarah, who is described as a woman of both courage and great character, forged ahead, and before too long, probably by 1860, she had acquired both for the Little Crossroads settlement. As the inscription inside the Bible tells us, James and Sarah had developed a relationship by the year 1865. And though her 1902 obituary in the Vermilion News says that Sarah Brown and James Copin were wed in 1857, all available records seem to refute that fact. The true year of their marriage was more likely 1867. Note: a simple stroke of the wrong key can sometimes dramatically alter our understanding of history. In any case, by 1880, Sarah and James had been married for a number of years, and, believe it or not, James had become a minister. He was at that time 84 and died the following year. Sarah died on January 16th, 1902 at the Furnace Corners home of her daughter, Mrs. Jenny Pelton. She was 87. The evening before she passed, her daughter read the line, "At evening time it shall be light." Sarah quickly replied, "It is light now. All is well and very well. You think this is my deathbed? Tell them all to meet me in heaven." I suppose they have. And that is the story of the Copin Bible. Note: the Bible can be seen at the Vermilion History Museum.
This story appeared in the Vermilion Photojournal on June 19, 2014.